I am from Ontario, just a few provinces over. Judging by your whoops, we also have some other Ontario folk here as well. So let me see those jazz hands. If we have anyone from Ontario.
I am from Ontario.
You're from Ontario as well? Fantastic. Yeah. What parts of Ontario are you from? Coburg. Okay, I am from Belleville, Ontario. So we are all aware of that. And where are we from in Ontario?
Fort Erie.
Oh, amazing. Fantastic. Well, anyone else from Canada here on tour today? No. And where are we from? Family of three in our middle row. New Jersey, New York. Welcome, welcome. And the row behind you, where are we coming from today? Buffalo, New York. We have a few Americans here on board. Well, I am very excited to have everyone today. And over the next 90 minutes, I am going to be telling you the myths, legends, and facts of Jasper National Park. Now, a myth is a story told for story purposes, where the truth may very well be a tad exaggerated or not very true at all. I do have to say I enjoy lying to my groups, extending the truth just a bit and throwing a few curveballs at you and keeping you on your toes. So it is up to you to tell me if I am lying or not. Now, a legend is someone here in Jasper who has done something of true historical significance. And lastly, a fact is that we are all going to have an amazing time together. Isn't that right, everybody? Fantastic. Well, if we look to our right-hand side, we will see the many trains that come in and out of Jasper on a daily basis. Now, back almost 100 years ago, Jasper looked a lot different than we know it today. We didn't have all of these Starbucks, these Tim Hortons, or any of these fancy hotels, as Jasper was nicknamed Tent City, as there were canvas tents that lined all the way along those train tracks, greeting guests with a nice comfortable section of ground to stay on. Now, there were two train companies that dominated the industry back in the day, the Grand Trunk Pacific and the Canadian National Railway Service. Now, these two companies paralleled all the way to Edmonton and were often so close to one another that you could shake hands with someone from the opposing train. But unfortunately, there was quite the rivalry between these companies, and in the dead of night, construction was often sabotaged, train tracks lifted up, and mud and water fights broke out between the employees. But these childish antics did evolve, and pistol shots could be heard echoing throughout these mountains. So, my advice to all of you on board today is let's stick to today's OpenTop, as we have a rivalry with nobody, and I promise to do my very best to keep everyone nice and safe today. But with that in mind, this next section of our tour can be a tad bumpy. So hold on to your hats, hold on to your loved ones, as I'd hate to lose someone through our canvas roof. But if we do have any thrill seekers here on board, lift up your hands, wave them in the air like you just don't care, and I might just hit a bump for you.
Can you tell about your car? What brand, what car is?
So this car is a Ford 550, and it is one of 4 vehicles in the entire world.
Really?
Yes. We have 2 vehicles operating in Banff. We have 1 operating in Waterton, and our last vehicle is operating here in Jasper.
Wow. It's amazing. Because I see first time this kind of car.
It is a very cool car. Now, if we look to our left-hand side, we will see an empty field. Ooh. Now, the reason I point out this empty field is because our first local legend, Elliot the Elk, loves to hang out there. He can often be seen with dozens of his family members surrounding him and eating on some yummy grass. But I personally like to refer to the elk population here in Jasper as mice, as they are everywhere and can be quite the pest. I'll often find myself coming home at the end of a late night shift just wanting to take a nap, and the only available parking space in the entire parking lot is now the new designated zone for elk to hang out, meaning I must park up the street, risk getting a ticket, and walk home, and ultimately missing out on my much needed beauty sleep. Now I hope everybody has their cameras handy as we are about to cross over the Athabasca River for the very first time today. Now this beautiful river is fed from the Columbia Glacier and flows all the way out to the Arctic Ocean. Now I do often say that this river is seen changing colors. Today it is a beautiful shade of grayish green, but I have seen it get to brilliant shades of turquoise. But despite how beautiful this river is, I don't recommend taking a swim as the current is incredibly strong and it stays at a pretty rocky temperature of about 1 to 2 degrees all year long. But on our right hand side we have the entrance to the Jasper Park Lodge, or the Fairmont Hotel here in Jasper. Now, do I have any guests on board staying at the Fairmont Hotel this week? I'm not seeing any jazz hands. Well, when I personally think of the Fairmont Hotel, I think of opulence, luxury, fine dining, and places where I would stick out like a sore thumb. Perhaps not in this outfit, but I can promise you, when I'm not on the clock, I am not dressed up this way. But I have heard of a few guests at the Fairmont Hotel who have stayed much later than their intended checkout times. Let me see those jazz hands if any of you believe in ghosts here on board today. Any ghost believers? I have a few hesitant jazz hands here. Well, the first ghost story I have heard of is that of a little boy who loves to roam the halls and keep guests awake with his constant laughter. Now he does sound just like this. And he goes all night long. Now I'd be pretty upset if that ghoulish giggling was keeping me awake, especially because it sounds just like a mosquito in your ear. Now I am pretty happy we have our canvas roof on as we are hitting some of that rain that was predicted. But that ghost that I previously mentioned has become quite the nightmare for the housekeeping staff. It is said he is often seen leaving them presents in the shape of handprints on the outside of some of the windows there. Now, for all of us skeptics here on board, we're probably thinking, well, any old child can be putting their grubby mitts on the outside of windows. I still don't believe in ghosts. Well, some of these windows happen to be 10 feet off the ground. So I think it's a bit more believable that there are ghosts running around the Fairmont rather than 10 feet tall children. But the other ghost I have heard of is that of a gentleman who was climbing the very steep spiral staircase, and when he reached the very top step, he unfortunately lost his footing and fell all the way to the very bottom. Now, rumor has it he is searching for a friend and can often be seen pushing other guests down the stairs. So if we do have an opportunity to visit the Fairmont this week, I recommend just sticking to the elevator. Although I have heard they have their ups and downs. Now I do hear some groaning and groveling behind me. I will promise everyone here on board that the bad jokes will keep coming. But we've seen many famous folks, such as you celebrities here on board today at the Fairmont Hotel. We have seen royalty from the likes of King George to Queen Elizabeth II. We have seen famous movie stars like Marilyn Monroe, and we have also seen an extremely famous musician by the name of Bing Crosby. Now I do have some Bing Crosby loaded up here in my speaker, and just before I play you some Mississippi Mud, if we'd all like to take a look underneath our seats, we will find a basket with red boxes. Now in those red boxes are some Viewmasters, where we can have a blast from the past and look at old-timey photographs from the 1930s of the Jasper train station, Tent City, as well as Spirit Island and some other hidden gems. So look underneath your seat, enjoy those Viewmasters, and this is Bing Crosby. Pardon, sorry?
Just pull over, let us look at these and call it a two.
Hey, exactly.
Environmentalism or what? Good Jasper.
Now that was Bing Crosby's Mississippi Mud on OpenTop Radio 1. My mother did always say I had a face for radio, so I'm happy to be your DJ today. Now, while we've been here in Jasper, have we had any opportunities to see some wildlife? What have we seen? Lots of elk, I'm assuming. Have we?
Black bear.
Black bear, fantastic. Anyone else seen a bear?
Cougars?
No bears. Well, that's okay, because I do have a pretty phenomenal animal call, and I will say my best animal call happens to be an elk. So as we make our way to the Maligne Overlook, I will be teaching all of you my famous elk call, and everybody does say it is pretty phenomenal. It works almost every single tour, as it is quite effective. And just as I pull in here, we can enjoy it together. So while I pull in, I need everybody to lift their hands above their head, just like they would their jazz hands. Now you're gonna interlock your fingers above your head. Fantastic. Now you are gonna put your two thumbs together, and there should be a nice big hole in between your thumbs. When you bend your thumbs in a 90-degree angle, there should still be that hole, and then you're going to bring up those knuckles of your thumb to either corner of your mouth, and you're gonna do your very best to make this noise. So I'll do it with you here together. Interlock your fingers, thumbs together, bend those thumbs and into your mouth. You're gonna do your very best to make this noise. Here, okie 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 okie. Here, okie 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 okie. Now, if we do see any elk here on tour, I will be taking 100% of the credit. Now, unfortunately, there are few parking spaces available, so I am going to be bringing us right up here on this curb. But those pathways that those folks are walking down, we are going to follow that all the way to the very end and be at the Maligne Overlook together. Now let me remind everyone that they are celebrities on board, and I will be opening up all of the doors for you at our overlook point. let me open that door for you. Treat
It's
you like a
okay.
celebrity.
Thank you.
Here we are. Do feel free to use my arm as extra support climbing on out. Here we are. Love your shoes, man.
Thanks.
Those are sick.
Appreciate it.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You're very welcome.
I so called that. I so called
I wasn't sure. I thought you. I was trying to like go into it.
So it's like 100 meters, I would say.
I can't even have no sound.